Hello and welcome to the dialogue. We're having a special episode. We're going to talk about the KD drama. Along here with me is the star of the show. That's right, the one and only the Charlie Murphy, or as we call him, the Skyline. And I'm your host, Daniel Campbell. Uh, Smooth won't be with us today because he's being a punk and he's backing out for a girl that he's talking to. Um, Yet he likes to tell us married men that our wives can wait. So can't wait to see what he has to say about being a hypocrite when he sees us on the next episode. All right, well, let's get started. All right, Charlie. KD woke up this morning and chose violence, man. Chose violence, dude. I feel bad for Bradley Beal in all of this because he was supposed to be the star free agent, and now no one's talking about him at all. Congrats to him. He got a max deal worth $251 million. It's a lot of money. Going back to the Wizards, it's going to suck for him, but good for him. And then last observation, I just got to say this. I feel bad right now for the 2K devs. I feel horrible for them. You know why? Because every 72 hours, they've got to change where Kevin Durant and James Harden play. So that's got to be pretty tough for them, man. So, what was your initial reaction when you saw that Kevin Durant had requested the trade less than 24 hours after Kyrie re-upped?
He's a punk. Like, I want to. Man, how do I put this? Look, you're supposed to be the man. You know, they built the team around you and Kyrie. They got you Harden. Harden didn't want to be there. All right, they brought in some other pieces to try to help. Like, they built the team around you. Now you don't want to be there because there's too much drama. We got to go back to OKC. They built the team around you. You didn't want to be there. So then you went to Golden State, where you had the easiest path to the finals out of any person. The easiest path. All you have to do, you could have been average, you still would have made it to the finals. You still would have made it to that finals. So it's like, what do you want, man? The team builds around you, and then what? They start losing. You just don't want to do it no more, or maybe there's more drama around the Brooklyn Nets that we know of. So, well, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
It's funny that you asked that question. What do you want? Because I literally wrote that down in my notes today. KD is the most unhappy superstar that has ever walked the face of the earth. I mean, he's a terrific player, but he's never happy with his situation. And that's what we're here to ask is, Kevin Durant, what do you want? How can you become happy with your basketball situation? And we watch you regardless of whatever team you're playing on or whatever the situation is. What is going to make you truly happy? And I think he doesn't even know, honestly. I don't think he really knows. Um, it's unfortunate, right? Because I think that he is probably the most talented basketball player on the earth right now. He's probably the most talented. Giannis is the best player, but he's by far the most talented. And even though he's the most talented, it's frustrating because I think that he's overrated. He might be the most overrated NBA player in history. And I'm completely backtracking on some things that I said to a friend of mine probably a month ago about Kevin Durant, or just over a month ago when the playoffs were happening. And I was saying that Kevin Durant was the most talented basketball player to ever play the game. And if he really wanted to be that guy, if he had Michael Jordan's mentality, we would forget all about Michael Jordan if he had that type of mentality because he's just that talented. As a 7-foot walking bucket who can literally play every position on the court if he absolutely wanted to. But now I'm completely reversing that, and I'm just going with it. He's most overrated. And he's overrated because his balls are about that big. They're literally about that big. All right, about that big, and that might be an overstatement. I'm going to ask you a few questions because Charles
Okay.
Barkley brought this up. Okay, and he said that Kevin Durant was not a bus driver. He was a rider on the bus, but not a bus driver. And that whenever he drives the bus, we see the results don't turn out very well. But when someone else drives the bus, he seems to fare well. Do you think that's a fair statement?
I feel that's basically what I said when I was bringing up all the teams. Like when he is the man, it hasn't worked out. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not saying he wasn't the man in Golden State, but they already were a Finals championship team already. They were already a championship team. So you just joined the best team and made them better. But when he's been the man on the other two teams, OKC, he was the best player. Brooklyn, he was the best player. He's just not getting it done. And I realized there was some drama in Brooklyn, but that's where you chose to go. The only good thing is maybe Brooklyn might get 3 or 4 first round picks for him if they trade him with probably some other pieces. But it is a loss. Don't get me wrong. It's a talent loss. So I mean, Brooklyn still got Kyrie, right? He'll be there half the season, a quarter of the season. How many games he still feels like playing? But
Oh, I
um,
think Kyrie's gone. He's going to the Lakers for sure now.
you know, Brooklyn's a joke, just like the Clippers.
Yes, it's going to be like Ben Simmons and somebody, whoever they trade Kevin Durant for. It's going to be fascinating to watch this. But I, this is the thing, right? Okay, so we go back to Oklahoma City. And if we go back to Oklahoma City, whose team would you say that it was?
I still say Kevin Durant.
You would say it was Kevin Durant's team.
Yeah.
I would argue that. I would say it was Russell Westbrook's team.
Okay.
100% it was Russell Westbrook's team.
Okay.
And the reason why I would say that is I was arguing with a buddy of mine he is a Kevin Durant fan. He does not have a team. He does not. He just follows Kevin Durant wherever Kevin Durant goes, kind of like how LeBron fans do. It's kind of disappointing, but whatever. I digress.
Yeah.
So he's already talking about buying a new jersey for wherever Kevin Durant goes. But he defends Kevin Durant. And I agree with him. It was Russell Westbrook's team. And he wants to kill what Russell Westbrook for the demise of the Thunder, saying it was all Westbrook's problem. But here's the problem I have with Kevin Durant. You are the best player on the team. The team goes where you go. Is that correct?
Right.
So if you say to another player, hey, give me the ball, stop shooting it, I'm going to shoot it, I'm going to run the team, and we're going to play ball the way I want to play ball, everybody else has to follow suit. Isn't that the way basketball kind of works?
Yeah. It's supposed to be.
Even in a pickup game, right? It kind of works that way. Even in a pickup game. Now, if say a player does not want to listen to the best player, there's a couple of routes that you can take in order to get that player to follow you. Route number one would be to fight him. Now, you and I, we played on a few basketball teams together in a few tournaments and what have you, right? So, I have zero chill, like zero chill, right? And if somebody's doing something stupid, I've got no problem saying that to somebody. And I don't confess to be the best player on the team, but I have no problem calling people out for what they do. And I have no problem getting up in somebody's face because I'm about that action, all right? So what's my point? That's what Kevin Durant needs to do. And if he doesn't want to take that route, then you take the LeBron route. What do you do? What does every player know about playing with LeBron? He's gonna be passive aggressive. He's gonna be out there tweeting, right? And then he's gonna be talking about you. Oh, you need to fit in instead of fitting out, and all this stuff, right? Right? And if LeBron don't like you, he go up there to the owner and be like, "Hey, fam, gotta go, man. I don't know who you gonna get for him, but he gotta go. He don't fit in with us no more." You do it all the time. I don't understand why Kevin Durant can't do that. I just don't get it.
It's
Go
not
ahead.
in his DNA. It's not in his DNA. Some people have that alpha. Durant, people will tell you he's not an alpha. He has the talent, but the mentality isn't there. He has the talent. Sometimes you gotta like, if you're supposed to be the leader, you gotta do stuff to make some people unhappy. You know, I think if he had called out Kyrie, like, because I was a big opponent of Kyrie. If you play some more games, you don't play Boston game one in the playoffs. Maybe you don't lose game one in the playoffs. But he stayed silent the entire time. James Harden, he spoke up when he said I wanted to trade because he's like, this is crap. I came over here to win. Some of y'all ain't serious about winning. You know, Kyrie might be there a while. So it is what it is. Sometimes if you're supposed to be the guy, you got to call the teammates and say, "Hey, you are the reason we're not playing well. You're doing something detrimental to the team." Now that but you got what you want, you got your buddy Kyrie, you got a bunch of free agents to help you win. Now you want to leave. Where are you going to go? Because if you go to a championship team, they're cash strapped more than likely. So you're only going to get so much money for them. So I have no idea where he's going to go.
I have to say this. I don't believe in alpha males or beta males. I don't believe in that. I think that that's absolute pure BS. I just have to say that. And the reason why I say I think that that's pure BS is that I think that all men, for the most part, if pushed to a certain limit, will have that ferocity come out of them. They'll have that thing that they may be holding back come out of them that you didn't know was there. Okay.
Okay.
So I think that all males are all alphas in their own right. However, I
Hmm.
think that some men have leverage over other men for whatever reason. Maybe it's money, it's power, or it's a situation, whatever, what have you. Okay. And that allows another man to exercise strength over another particular man, right? Because of that leverage. Kevin Durant has all the leverage in this in his relationships with every single team he's been with. OKC was the best player. He didn't exercise his leverage. With the Warriors, he did not have as much leverage, but he was absolutely the best player. But the Warriors have a structure and were not going to conform to what he wanted, which is why he left. With Brooklyn, Kyrie is clearly the bus driver. Even though Kevin Durant's the best player, Kyrie is clearly the bus driver. It's it's like, let me paint a mental picture for you. It's like Kyrie takes Kevin Durant by the hand, walks him up the bus steps, places him in one of the benches, straps him in with a little seatbelt, walks back up to the front, gets in the bus, gets in the driver's seat and drives. If Kevin Durant says anything, you know what Russell Westbrook does? He looks back at him and tells him to shut up. That's what it looks like. It looks like, don't make me come back there. You know what I mean? If Kevin Durant says anything, all right. Kevin Durant has all the leverage, and I can't for the life of me figure out why he will not exercise it. It just drives me crazy. And don't get me wrong, Kyrie is to blame for all of this, all of it. However, I can't exonerate Kevin Durant in this. I can't because he has character issues of his own. Just remember this podcast, all right? For all you listeners out there, remember this podcast. Because I'm going to assure you that the next place that Kevin Durant goes, wherever it is, my gut tells me that he's going to bring the same toxicity that he brought everywhere else right there. And within 2 to 3 seasons, we're going to be talking about this all over again. All over again. I, I just can't understand why people are still fans of him, why they buy his shoes, why people show up to support him. I don't get it. It makes no sense. And I'll just say this because I know I'm ranting a little bit because I'm watching
I'm
you.
just listening.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
just
I know.
listening. I ain't say nothing.
I got to
I
rant.
ain't say nothing.
I got to rant a
Okay.
little bit.
I
I got
see
to
it.
rant. I gotta get some things off my chest clearly. All right. I
Mm-hmm.
got. I'm gonna make this very clear about forming a big three because I thought about this for a while about forming a big three, and I've given LeBron a lot of criticism about what he did in Miami, and I've given Kevin Durant even more criticism for joining the Warriors. All right, which was already a stacked team that already won a championship without him. Forming a big three or forming these super teams does not instantly guarantee you championships. Say what you want, but LeBron's leadership is what pushed those teams over the edge. All you have to do is go back and look at Miami. LeBron's leadership helped a great deal. Now, he didn't start out the leader of that team, but ultimately he was the leader of that team. You go to that second stint with the Cavs. His leadership got them a championship. You go to the Lakers. His leadership gets them another championship. When has Kevin Durant's leadership done anything on these so-called super teams? That was
Without,
not that was not rhetorical.
yeah, without Golden State. Yeah, no. With the Thunder, they came up short to Golden State, actually, I believe. With Brooklyn, arguably their best chance was when they played Milwaukee last year. Either what his feet are too big or something. Like it was an incredible shot, but the opportunities for him is there, and each time it just came up short. And when he came up short, he decided to go someplace else.
It's
Now he
literally
couldn't play.
they
So you hope.
go
So
ahead.
I guess he's hoping he goes to a contender, but the contenders teams, a lot of contenders teams, they're contenders for a reason. They don't have a bunch of salary just to toss around. So now you have to move a bunch of pieces, move a bunch of draft picks, and hope that you get a ring from championship. Otherwise, it's just a waste. Because that's what some. If a team really wants them, they got to move a lot of pieces, good players, and then it's probably going to cost you at least three first round picks plus two of your best players, arguably. So it's like, okay, let's say he gets traded to the Bulls, right? But they
Mm-hmm.
take Zach and DeMar DeRozan, and they throw in Patrick Williams. So
Yep.
what? You hope that Lonzo stays healthy and you get more out of Vooch? Okay.
I want to get to that. I want to get to that because I want to get to a few ideas, trade ideas in a moment.
Okay. You got a team? Wow. What team you got? The Bulls are just an example.
But I just have to finish this and just say before we get into any of these teams, I have to preference it by just saying that Kevin Durant is so talented. Just finish it off and say he's talented, but he's quite literally the softest superstar that I have ever seen. He's a weasel. He's a snake. He's a cupcake. He's everything that they say about him. All right. And you know what his nickname is called? The Easy Money Sniper. Easy Money Sniper, right? That's what they call him. And I used to think that it was because his game was so smooth that he made it look effortless. He made it look easy, right? But really, he just chooses the easiest path, the path of least resistance. The moment that it gets tough, he gets going. You know how they used to say the going gets tough and the tough get going? Now, Kevin Durant is running, all right? Running. So we're going to find out some more in the next coming days of what he wants to do. Um, Talking about the Bulls, after I said all of that, all right, and I killed him for all of that, I still would want him on the Bulls just because I want to see a product that actually has a chance to win a championship. And I know that my Bulls are nowhere near winning a championship without him or a player of his caliber. So you mentioned trading. Zach Levine. I think that that's actually a sneaky thing that you might see happen. What do you think are the odds that the Nets would trade him? Kind of like how the San Antonio Spurs traded Kawhi. He didn't go where he wanted to go. They just sent him where they wanted him to go. What do you think of the odds of that?
Yeah, because they wanted because DeRozan was on the Raptors, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, they
they
got the
sent
Rose.
him there. The Bulls, considering that it looks like they just signed it, was it Drummond?
Yeah. No, no, no,
Um,
no. The
Andrew
Bulls.
Drummond.
Did the Bulls
Bulls
sign
to
him?
sign Bulls to
Okay,
sign
I just.
Andrew Drummond.
Well, I'm not a fan of that, but
This is I think this was on 20. I think I saw this article came out 20 minutes ago. USA Today.
not happy about.
Uh,
It. Go ahead.
so if that's a fact, if that's a fact, he comes off the bench. Like I feel like the Bulls seem like they're just going to run it back and just hope everyone stays healthy. That's kind of what it looks like. You're going to run it back and you hope everyone stays healthy.
And I'm good
Because
with it.
like the Miami Heat, right? They would have to trade if Miami Heat wanted Durant, they'd have to trade Butler. To be honest, they'd have to
Um,
trade.
I've got a few ideas on that actually.
Okay, what are your ideas? Let me not. What are your ideas?
So let me pull my notes up. 1 second. I've got a few ideas on that. So here's what I came up with. And now I can't find it, of course. Of course, I can't find my notes on that. But I had Tyler. Oh, there it is. All right. So you can do Kyle Lowry, his big contract. You can do Tyler Hero. They could trade their rookie that they drafted this year. They could give out a couple of first round picks, and that would probably be a fair trade. Um, I don't see Miami doing this if they have to give up Butler. That's number one. Because what's the point of going there? Defeats the whole purpose of going there if you get rid of Butler. Number
Okay.
two, Bam Adebayo, you can't give him up either. That also defeats the purpose. So you got to trade a bunch of pieces that don't matter and a bunch of first round picks because that's really the prize of all of this for the Nets. It's got to be the first round picks. I think that would work. What do you think of that?
I never thought that he had enough to win it all last season. So you just unless you're hoping everyone just plays better, or you get more out of you get Tyler Hero, excuse me. You get more out of Victor Oladipo. Bad with names tonight. Unless you're hoping that you get more out of your players, they need something to get over the hump. So, for whatever team that is in the hunt, you have to give up a lot to get him. If you
Yeah,
can do it for draft picks only, do it. But you got to give up draft picks. It's going to be 3 draft picks, first round picks, and then what? At least 2 starters,
yeah. Well,
if not.
in my scenario, you give away Lowry, you give away Hero. They have a lot of value.
Uh,
I think
I
that,
think the Heat's strength is all their pieces. That's the strength of their team.
but the
So,
thing is that they can't score in the half court, and that getting Kevin Durant fixes that problem.
so
They can plug in a bunch of guys to replace Hero and Kyle Lowry.
what about um, New Orleans Pelicans? They can sign and trade Zion for Durant. Don't want
I
to couple
don't think
first round
New
picks.
Orleans will do it. I haven't even looked into it because I don't think New Orleans will do it.
They,
I would do it in a heartbeat. I would trade Zion in a heartbeat, but I don't think New Orleans will.
Zion ain't getting any thinner. Okay,
Nope.
he's just not. It's really that simple. If you can sign and trade Zion, um, I
Could
don't
you
know if
imagine
you.
having Brandon Ingram and Kevin Durant
That's what I was thinking. You got them two. They
crazy?
just got C.J. McCullum, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
he would be a very good third option. They don't need him
Yes.
to be a second. Like if you can keep those three together, give up 3 first round picks, give up Zion, and any player that's not who we mentioned before, I think the Pelicans can do it because they surprisingly got. I'm trying to think of the team they won. Was it? Was it Phoenix? Could be Phoenix. No.
Yeah, yeah, he wants to go to Phoenix as the number one choice. I think that that's a mistake for Phoenix.
Durant. Like, what if Phoenix is you're already losing DeAndre Ayton? So unless you're going to do a signing training for DeAndre Ayton to Brooklyn, you got to give up something else.
Well, that's most likely what they're going to do is sign a trade of him. They're going to trade Michael Bridges, probably a couple of first round picks, maybe throw
So,
in a few of the backups.
so at least Durant will play. No, because Durant, I would say Durant played with a good point guard, but he played with Curry. So
I think that if Durant's wise, he stays away from the West. I don't think he really wants them problems out there out West. I
Durant
don't.
wants an easy. He wants an easy peasy road to the finals, man.
Exactly. And out
You
West,
got to
they,
work for it. And maybe
um,
that's just maybe he's entitled. That's his problem. He's just entitled.
I came up with a dark horse that I think would be interesting. I would
Okay.
trade Michael Porter Jr., um, Jamal Murray, plus some picks, and get Kevin Durant to go to Denver. Could you imagine
Kevin
Jokic
Jokic.
and Durant together?
Uh, who would be
I
a
think
third piece?
I don't
Those
think it
two
would
pieces.
be good, but I think it's
Yeah.
fun. Go ahead.
Who would be a third piece between Jokic and Durant?
I have no clue. I just think it would be fun to watch. That's all. I just think it would be fascinating to watch. Watch
Yeah,
them
you
play.
got to come up with something. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun idea. You got to come up with a realistic scenario because, like I keep saying, you have to give up something. Brooklyn lucked out. He was a free agent. They didn't get nothing. They didn't give up nothing. So let's say they trade Kemp and they trade Kyrie, right? They can probably bring us some nice pieces to at least make it as a bottom seed. Maybe not go all the way, but you get the players and then you get the draft picks. So Brooklyn, even though it didn't work out, I mean, I don't feel bad for them, especially if you trade those two players, overhaul the team, get some draft picks and just do I would say a full rebuild, but uh, you'll have enough pieces to stay competitive and enough pieces to keep drafting in the future. So
I think that if it's really about winning, there's two teams that make the most sense to me. So, team number one would be the Milwaukee Bucks. That would make. I know the pairing would be phenomenal. Could you imagine having Giannis and KD together? I hadn't even thought of that.
so you'd give a what, Chris Middleton?
Yeah, Middleton's got to go, or Drew Holiday. It's probably Drew Holiday that goes. So you keep
You
Middleton.
can't keep. I mean, okay, nah, Drew's the point. I think you need Drew. If you have Durant, Durant can slide into Middleton's role. To be honest, you'll get the defense and better offense.
You play Durant at power forward. You got Bobby Portis coming off the bench because he just resigned, which I think is a travesty, right? Because the Warriors were trying to get Bobby Portis, and I think he would have been amazing in that Kevon Looney role for the Warriors because he can step out and shoot the three. The Warriors would be unbeatable if they got him and they could play him next to Draymond. But anyway,
Milwaukee ain't gonna do that because Giannis already gave that speech. We did it for the right way.
yeah,
Did not do a super team. That's why it's not gonna happen.
Giannis, Kevin Durant, Chris Middleton, and then they fill in the rest of the pieces. I
He's
think that would
more,
be
he's more than
phenomenal.
likely to go to the Bulls over the Bucks, and the Bulls ain't doing it.
But the other team that's fourth on his list that I think is the absolute best fit of the realistic teams is the Toronto Raptors. That's where he should go if it's actually about winning. You could give up Ananobi, give up Gary Trent, a bunch of first round picks, maybe Precious Achua, something like that. I think that those are the ways that you can get him. But could you imagine a front court that has Durant, Chris Boucher?
Yeah,
Because I don't know if you realize, like the Toronto Raptors,
Boucher.
they're one of the biggest teams in the league.
Yeah,
Yeah, Chris Boucher, who's like 6 foot, who's like 7 feet. They'd have him, who's 7 feet. They'd have
Siakam
Siakam, who's like
could be
what
the four.
6'10", 6'11".
Could be the four, and then
Yeah.
Durant can play the three. You
Yep.
got I don't know who the two guard is. Fred Van Vliet would be the point
Van
guard.
Fleet is their point guard. I don't know who the two guard would be, but they figure that out because you have Scotty Barnes there as well. So Scotty Barnes probably gets traded in that Nets trade. He's a good young player. He's a rookie of the year just this
Mhm.
past season. So you'd be trading a rookie of the year, which is phenomenal to do. Nets would jump all over a rookie of the year if they could get one, right? So I think that they have the best draft, the best capital to trade, but also I think they have the best team just because I think that they would have the length and the size and the switchability on defense to be able to do what Boston did in this recent playoffs on defense. But they'd also have Kevin Durant, who they can go to just go get an absolute bucket every single time.
So Toronto is the most intriguing. Could have the most success there. It depends on what you give up. Who are the top four teams on the list again? Durant's list.
It was the Suns is number one. I'm trying to think who was it. It was the Suns. It was the Raptors. They were like number four. I remember. I forgot. Hold on. I'll remember. Okay, yeah, it's the Suns, then the Heat, then the Grizzlies, and then the Raptors, and last but not and absolutely least was the Blazers out of his top five teams. That's what they were. I like Memphis. I just don't see it as realistic.
Memphis are good already without um, John Morant, so they already have enough pieces. You just got to get them
Oh,
healthy.
if they got him championship, I have no doubt saying championship with him and John Morant together with Desmond Bain. Because in that scenario, you're trading Jaren Jackson, Zaire Williams, some first round picks, maybe a few other players like Brooks, but the core of the team is together, and I think that they would be fantastic together like that. And you'd also have Steven Adams, who you could play occasionally to be a strong man for him. So
Mhm.
I just think that that would be awesome for them. Um, the Blazers probably have the least, but it's kind of selfishly where I would like to see him play with Dame. But I mean, who wants to go play in Portland? Exactly.
Just Dame, he keeps resigning apparently, so just him.
But in a way, I kind of hope he gets traded to like Utah or something. That would be hilarious to me if he got traded to Utah.
Why?
Hilarious.
So he can
Because
fail. He might not win anything in Utah.
I'm tired. In a way, I'm tired of these superstars just crying and whining every time something gets tough, and then they just leave, or they ask to be traded to leave, and they just leave, and they go to a better situation, and they leave the team that they were with in shambles. So fine, let's send you to Utah, and you're going to spend exile in Utah for the next 3 years of your contract. That's what I would love to see.
If you want him to suffer, send him to like who's the worst team?
I wasn't talking about winning. I'm talking about
Bobcats.
yeah, but yeah, the Hornets. You mean? I
Yeah,
know.
Hornets. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. There's still things to do in North Carolina. No, send him to Salt Lake City with all those Mormons up there where there's nothing to do and he's got to live 6 months out of the year in Mormontown. That's where we need to send him, where you can barely even get a drink of alcohol. That's where we need to send him. That's NBA punishment right there. You go to Utah. And guess what? You can't recruit to Utah either. Nobody wants to play in Utah because A, it sucks to live in Utah. B, the fans are super racist in Utah and all the players hate Utah because the fans are super racist. They're worse than Boston. And you know how you know how racist you have to be for players to say that it's worse than Boston? Do you understand the level
Pretty
of
racist. Pretty racist.
yes.
All
The
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where we need to send them. Any other last thoughts?
The man is. I mean, it's just entitled and soft. Like you got to work hard here. If you can do it without Curry and Golden State, you would change the narrative. I don't think he's ever going to do it without them too. But I guess we got to see because whoever trades him has to give up. His best bet probably might be just to stay with the Nets and hope that Kyrie plays more than half his games and hope that because the team's already built, whatever team you are going to, they're going to lose pieces to get you. You have to be able to make up for those pieces. and he's shown that he can't be a leader. He's not the driver of the bus. So that's all I have to say.
All right. I'm just gonna say this: Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, you're both sellouts. I can't make this up. You're both sellouts. It's absolutely disappointing. But I'm gonna play. I'm gonna take the higher road on this, even like it's actually offending me. And I'm just gonna say this, Kevin Durant. I hope that you find whatever you're looking for, whatever happiness that you're searching for. I hope you find it. I hope it brings you comfort. You find contentment within whatever your basketball future is going to be. You suck, man. I do. I really do hope that he
I
finds
don't.
it, finds that happiness. But if you don't, and if there, I wish there were basketball gods. Because if there were, they would punish him and send him to Utah, which is where he belongs. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for watching a special episode of the Trade Alert Dialogue. Rate us, review us, give us 5 stars, leave a comment, and we'll talk to you in a couple of days.